Undead Unluck on a plot sense is a story about mortals trying to defeat gods and become free from the rules imposed on them, and on a more thematic sense it's a story about people finding agency in their own lives through the choices they make for themselves and the dreams they strive for. And in my opinion, one of the best arcs to demonstrate this is the Spoil arc, and so using this arc as a microcosm for the series as a whole, I today hope to explain to you all why I believe the series of Undead Unluck is all about changing and growing into the person you want to be for no one else's sake but your own. So if you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell. Anyway, on with the video. The central antagonist of the Spoil arc, before all the Victor shit went down, was of course Uma Spoil, the embodiment of natural decay. In other words, it is the personification of the end of us all, of all organic life. It is an unavoidable concept. Even to the negator of death himself, he can still be spoiled. Technically it won't kill him, mind you, but I guess the point is even a death negator is not immune to decay, it is that all imposing of a rule. And the way this Uma exercises its rule is by giving everyone within its range a timer that once it drops to 0 will trigger the spoiling process and turn you into a walking corpse, a zombie, unable to ever be normal again. However, as we see, there is a way to avoid spoiling even once targeted by the rule of this Uma, and that's thinking happy thoughts, or more specifically, thinking of your dreams and what you want to do in the future. As although spoil represents literal decay, it also represents on a more thematic level the idea of giving up on your dreams, of letting your dreams spoil away before you can even reach them. Those who accept the end will spoil without resistance as they are unable to fight against the inevitable. However, those with dreams and desires will fight on to keep living on despite that. As isn't striving for a dream the same as trying to make fiction into reality. And so because of this, by declaring and believing in a dream, one can overcome Spoil's timers. And well, I personally believe a large part of the story's messaging is about finding agency in your own life. Fuko stops trying to end her life and endeavours to instead change and free herself from unluck. She is saved from despair and an early death by Andy, a man with a single dream to one day die. On a more thematic level, the reason Andy survived for so long is because both he and Victor had dreams, an opposing god loop after loop because of their dreams, and so Andy's dream inspires Fuko to not give up on her own dream. This kind of being reversed at the end of the Spoil arc, with Fuko saving Andy from being overcome by Victor. And so much like how Fuko overcame her desires to die with her desires to fulfill her dream, they overcame Spoil's rule of death with their desires to live on and make their lives not what the world and the rules of it say it should be, but what they want it to be. What overcame the rule was something only humans can do: dream. And is it not the Union's dream of defeating God that will save humanity from the inevitable Ragnarok set upon the earth by God? As yes, as suggested at the start of the video, I think Spoil is a brief taster of God, much like how Enel and Doflamingo have foreshadowed Emu in One Piece for example, or how in Chainsaw Man the zombie devil foreshadows the... Actually that's a massive spoiler, so I won't say it, but those who've read Chainsaw Man, you know what I'm talking about. I feel Spoil, his abilities and his defeat are all microcosms of the greater Undead Unluck story. Spoil took a town and made it its domain, inflicting all those within with the rule of spoil. It took joy in watching how the people of its new domain spoiled, took pleasure in their suffering and inescapable deaths. God, on the other hand, or should I say Sun, took the world that they created alongside Luna and inflicted it with Umas and negators. They imposed rules onto the earth as they saw humanity as too weak and wished to watch them suffer and die, giving the Umas the rules they unleashed, the directive to use your rules to make the humans suffer. And remember what happens at the start of the Spoil fight. Andy rallies the zombies to fight back against the one who spoiled them, the one who dictated over them and took away their normal lives. And while I don't think it's too wild an idea to say this might be some early foreshadowing for the overall conflict of the story, with Andy and Fuko rallying the negators of the world to fight back against the one who made them rule vessels and took away their normal lives. Spoil was ultimately defeated by those they sought to spoil, much like how Sun will lose to those they cursed as negators. I mean, think about it, Spoil puts a time limit on people, a bit like how Sun gave a limited number of loops. Much like how Sun and Ragnarok is inevitable, so is spoiling. Our protagonists during the Spoil arc were inflicted with the rule of spoil, but in the end overcame its rules with nothing but pure human dreams. Again, much like how the Negators took their abilities, what they thought were curses and chains, and turned them into something powerful enough to eventually defeat God due to their collective dream of wanting to be free. Spoil also questions why the Negators opposed it. The returning to the Earth is natural and beautiful. It's the natural way the world should be. Later adding that their birth brought about a beautiful cycle of life. Basically, in Spoil's view, spoiling is a necessary rule, it keeps the world turning. However, what determines what the world should be? Is it due to its creator Sun, or the people that live on it, humans? As Foucault says, as long as people have dreams, no matter the size or shape of said dreams, their hearts will never spoil. After which he details her own dream of becoming a normal girl. Something which will only be possible with the defeat of Sun. Sun very likely will have a similar personality to Spoil, in that they believe the rules they place on the world is for the good of the world. The ugly humans are the ones trying to ruin the world by breaking it and should suffer as penance. However, it is because they have dreams that humanity will be able to defeat Sun. And although I'm not sure in what way it will manifest, I feel like the key to beating God will somehow tie back to this moment. As will the eventual defeat of Spoil in my opinion, with them launching Spoil out into space. And although this is obviously speculation, would it not be fitting for Sun to be expelled from Earth in the final battle, with some declaration from the Union that the Earth belongs to humanity and is no longer something for Sun to toy with, making the Earth unconquerable? Or maybe a better unsuffixed word than that. I really couldn't think of anything better, but I'm sure there is. Obviously this is not guaranteed to happen, of course, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of scene like this. And well, another thing to note is how Victor is the one to finish off Spoil, after which he says to Shen,
Victor, 人間だ、神、トールじゃない.
As if to make very clear to us that the rules can be overcome by humans. Something expanded upon later in the same chapter, with Shen saying he has seen the power of human potential, as it is human dreams and potential that will ultimately overcome God. Of course, this was quite a surface level analysis of the series, and I guess that's because this video is more tested to see how well Undead Unluck content will do on this channel. It's personally one of my favourite mangas currently running in Weekly Shonen Jump, and I think it's very much deserving of some good analytical content, but if it doesn't get the views, I can't really justify it, I guess. Plus, if I want to make good analytical content on this, I'm going to have to reread the series from scratch and take loads of notes, which is just going to take forever. So if you want to see more Undead Unluck content, and you want to, kind of force me to make more, then comment unwatch down below, and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps pledge to my Patreon, or consider becoming a channel member, so you can get your name at the end of the video, like Hikari Desu, Rinjak9696, General Tonyos, Mr. Sputum, and Matthias Rowett. So with all that said and done, I have been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.